You thought I was all done? I've actually got one more thing that I'm super excited to present to you. I am very proud to be here representing not just the Windows development team, but also the Office development team. And Office has been very hard at work on the next major release of Office, Office 12. And this is the first time we're actually showing this product in a public forum. Now, one of the things that we focused on when building Office 12 was to help people get better results faster. And if you look at the history of Office, it's pretty amazing to see how much capability we've built into Office. When we shipped Word 1.0, the product had about 100 commands in the product. So the menus and toolbars were a fine way to browse the product and learn about all those commands. Word 2003 has over 1,500 commands in it, 35 toolbars. That metaphor has just gotten completely overloaded when it comes to discovering the power of that product. In fact, in our research, when we ask people, what would you like us to do in the next version of Office, 9 times out of 10, people will name something that's actually already in the product. They simply don't know it's there. It's just too hard to find it. So a major area of innovation for the development team for Office 12 was to really focus on making a much more innovative UI to help you get better results faster. And I'm really proud to show that user interface to you today. Let's take a quick look, starting out with Microsoft Excel. Here is the brand new user interface for Office 12. Now, you'll notice that even though it is very new, it feels extremely familiar. We know that about 60 to 80% of end-user clicks are something that you can now do on the very first tab of Excel and Word and PowerPoint. And you see these buttons, you recognize them. But notice as I move through the tabs, we're not dropping down any menus. We're just bringing in a new tab, much more graphical, much easier to explore the product. It's a really beautiful user interface to see what you can do with the product itself, far more discoverable. Let's take a look. I'm going to actually open up a file. I'm going to use a keyboard shortcut, and the same keyboard shortcut I've always used, Control-O, to bring up the file Open Dialog. Now, this dialog, we're running on Windows Vista. This is the Windows Vista file Open Dialog. I'm going to drill into my demo files, and I can get those rich thumbnails right here. Click on them and see the file before I actually open it up. I can add metadata, I can rate it, I can do all of those things that Windows Vista allows me to do. Here, I'm going to open up a spreadsheet, click Open, and here's a pretty simple looking spreadsheet that I've got, and now I want to work with it. Well, I'm going to go ahead and select some data, and wouldn't it be nice to format this data? We've got some beautiful quick styles, and you notice the super tooltips that we've built in here, which give you far more information about what the command does, so you don't ever have to go to the Help menu to really learn more about it. Wouldn't it be nice if we could visualize these cells with what we call a data bar? Ooh, very nice. We'll automatically draw that bar for you within the cell to show you which is the largest number. Similarly, I might want to go to that same menu, and I might want to highlight the bottom 10 numbers in this list, or perhaps the bottom 4 numbers with a yellow fill. Hit OK. Wouldn't it be nice if we could give you a graphical depiction of your information, perhaps using an icon set? Red, yellow, green arrows in the direction of the data. Great way to take a look at that. Maybe we'd like to select a whole table of data right here and go back to visualizing and choose the 3-color gradient to see exactly which are the high, low, and medium numbers in this table. So the user interface just makes it very easy to get better results faster and do things that I frankly probably didn't know I could ever do before. Let me switch out to this table here on this other tab, and you'll notice that when I click in the table, up above we see a tab that's specific to tables. I'll click on that, and here's a whole set of table tools. When I click in the sheet, we go back to the sheet tools. When I click in the table, we go back to the table tools. Another element of the user interface is what we call galleries and live previews. As I click over something, I'm actually not clicking, I'm literally just hovering. We'll go ahead and show you what that's going to look like in the table below. So you get to sort of pick before you click and get exactly the view that you want. You'll see these galleries and these live previews throughout the product everywhere that you go. From here, I can quickly format the first column with that nice graphical button. I can quickly add a total row to my table, and I'm sort of off to the races here, building a table that's much more beautiful than something I've ever done before. Now, in the bottom right-hand corner, we've put all of the view commands in all the applications. So here's a scroll bar. I can scroll out. I can scroll in. Beautiful way to work with my spreadsheet. I can also do things like collapse this UI to really maximize the space on screen. If I just click the Tools tab again, we're going to hide that tab and let you focus just on the data. Keep your eye on the row headings up above here, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Watch what happens as I scroll down. Ooh, and ah. We'll automatically pick up the table heading there and show you the name of that table right in those row headings, something that Excel users absolutely love. In this case, what I'd like to do is to switch to a different view command, where I'm going to switch from the normal view in Excel to the page layout view. And now I can really see that this table is going to go on a couple pages. I can click here and add a header or a footer if I want. In this case, let's change the page layout. There's a tab named Page Layout. I'd actually like to change the orientation from portrait to landscape. And I can see that I'm not quite there. I still need to do some work. So wouldn't it be nice if I could click on margins, and rather than fiddling with each of these individual controls, just choose narrow margins and get things right the way I want them. So a quick look at the user interface, the new user interface in Office 12 inside Excel, to show you how you can get better results faster and discover far more of the power inside the product. Now this is great, but what about developers? What can you all do with this new user interface? Let me switch over to another machine where we have an add-in running from one of our partners. OSI Software has long had an add-in for Excel that actually works quite well in Office 12 without them touching the add-in. It runs perfectly, but they've actually updated the add-in to integrate to the new user interface itself. OSI Software builds performance monitoring software for utility companies and life sciences companies. So you'll notice that they've added their own tab right here to the Excel tabs. I'm going to click on OSI Soft, and it's going to bring up their tab. You'll notice they've added their own galleries. So I can get some values around the power and weather in the current conditions here in California. Click on that, we'll go off and hit their server and bring in some data right here in Excel for me to analyze. I can go to the time frame, drop this down, and you see another beautiful gallery. And rather than looking at today's data, how about yesterday's data from midnight to midnight in 3-hour intervals? There's yesterday's data. Now, I swear to you, we had planned this demo well before what happened yesterday. And this is actually not the real data. This is sort of canned data from the demo. But you see they're bringing that data right in, and they're automatically using the visualization capabilities that I just showed you in Excel. I can change the region from northern region to the southern region to just look at Southern California. And when I go to the Insert tab, this is an Excel tab, you see that they've integrated commands right inside our existing tabs. So not only can they add their own tabs, but of course they can add trend analysis that I can click on and just plop that chart right in here. So this add-in worked exactly as is, with the exception of just hooking it up to the new UI. A great example of what you can do with Office 12 and the applications that you build. Now let me show you a couple of new ways that the Office 12 UI shows up in the other applications inside of Office. And again, we're very much focused on helping you get better results faster. Let me open up Word, and here you see a Word document, and it's going to look very, very familiar. We found that you really don't need a lot of training wheels with this new user interface. People are able to get up and running very quickly. So I'm going to select the entire document with Control-A, and I'm just going to do a common task like changing the font. Notice when I hover over the fonts, we'll show you that live preview in the background. So you can see exactly what this document is going to look like. Changing fonts and font sizes is something people do all the time. But when it comes to Word, wouldn't it be nice if we made it easier to do things like inserting page numbers and footers and headers and the very common Japanese greeting that you want to insert into that document? We got that one click of the mouse away. In this case, let me insert a text box, and we can pick from a very rich set of galleries here. Let's use a boxed quote that's on the left. So we'll quickly just drop that in. I'll double-click on this to bring up the tool specific to this text box, and I'll just mouse over some of these beautiful styles that we have built right into the application. You can think about how long it would take you to build something like this in Word in the past, and you can see that every user becomes a power user with this new user interface. We've got tabs for print layout, for inserting references, for doing mailings, for reviewing your document. Let me quickly add a couple of comments to the document, maybe one here and one here. And you quickly get a sense for how easy it is to get better results faster by having all of the authoring commands right here in this one set of tabs. Now, we also wanted to take all of the commands to work with the document around the full life cycle of the document and put those right on the file menu. So when it comes to saving the document, we make it easy to save it up to a document management server, such as Sharepoint. We make it easy for you to email it or create a document workspace using Sharepoint. And we make it super easy to finalize the document, like adding a digital signature, restricting the permissions, or inspecting the document so that you can have confidence that it's the document you want before you send it out. This will bring up the document inspector. I'm going to go ahead and hit the inspect button, and now Word will automatically look for comments and revisions, doc information, headers and footers, and hidden text, and quickly say, hey, we found some. Let me just delete the hidden text. Now it's gone in a couple of seconds. Let me remove all the comments. Watch these comments. Hit remove. Boom, they're gone. So very quickly, I can scrub this document and then route it around with confidence that's not going to have any of that hidden information that I don't want to have in it. So a great way to get better results faster built right here into the user interface itself. Let me go ahead and close Word. And let's take a quick look at PowerPoint and how this user interface allows us to get better results faster. Here we are. Again, it looks very familiar given the new UI. Wouldn't it be nice if we could take sort of boring slides that are just bulleted slides like this and perhaps convert text to graphics? And we've built in this incredible gallery of beautiful graphics that we see people trying to use all the time. I'm going to pick this diagram, hit OK, and we'll automatically just turn that text into a nice graphic right there. Ooh, and yeah, I heard some moves right there. I'm going to change the style using another beautiful gallery, perhaps make it a 3D style, and I might want to refine the color. We've built in all of these, just click on it, and you get exactly what you want. I'm going to bring up the little text box, and I might add something like deploy, and you'll notice that PowerPoint's going to do the right thing for me, and go ahead and add that 6th bulleted item for deploy. And we can take this to, again, the next level and add animations and do all sorts of things. In this case, what I'd like to do is actually change this process diagram to the one that McKinsey tells us they use all the time. There's a nice arrow with the bullets on it. I personally love the cycle diagrams, so I'm going to go back in here and choose one of these cycle diagrams. And of course, if I want to work with one of the items inside here, I can just go ahead and choose Edit and perhaps pick Glow and give this a nice bold glow. Click off it. Someone yelled, ship it. Thank you. Try that again. Get a nice bold glow, click off it, and you get that beautiful visual effect right there on that item. So, very nice. You can quickly see how we give you better results faster by just letting you click through this user interface and just discover all of the rich capabilities, many of which were already in the product, but you simply didn't know how to get to them. Now, for us, better results faster isn't just about the UI. It also involves how the client applications are deeply integrated to the server applications. And Steven Sinofsky tomorrow is going to talk a lot more about this. But I wanted to give you a little bit of a sense for some of the things that we're doing to let you get better results faster through deep integration with servers. So I'm going to close this PowerPoint session down. And you see that I have another document that I'm working on with 3 different slides. One of the areas that we want to integrate deeply with next time around is Sharepoint. So let me switch over to Sharepoint. You can see I've got a Sharepoint site for the next version of Sharepoint. You can see that we've added a recycle bin, so if you mistakenly delete a file, you can quickly drop in there, undelete it, which is nice. But in this case, what I'd like to do is drill down into the PDC pitch book. The PDC pitch book is just a slide library that we've built in Office 12. Slide libraries are a new library for SharePoint that lets me take my favorite slide decks, save them to a SharePoint site, and will automatically create an item for every single slide in however many slide decks you put up there. And I've got the metadata, like when the last time I used this was, ratings, whatever you want. Someone can check out this slide, make changes to it, and check it back in. In this case, I want this slide, I want this slide, I want this slide. I want to send them to PowerPoint. I want to add them to this presentation. And most importantly, I want to keep the inserted slides updated. So when someone makes a change up on that slide library, I'll automatically be notified when I open up this presentation, and I can make sure I always have the latest and greatest slides that someone else has worked on. So we make it very, very easy for you to get better results faster through that integration with PowerPoint and SharePoint. And there are many, many other examples of that. The last example that I wanted to show you is actually the work that we've done with Outlook. And how do we make it easy to get better results faster when working across boundaries? So let me switch out to one other machine, if I can, and give you a quick taste of Outlook, and then we'll wrap up. Here you see the Outlook user interface, and one of the first things you'll notice is the new to-do bar. On the right-hand side, you see I've got my emails, I'm reading email, and here's the to-do bar on the right-hand side. You can see my next couple of appointments that I need to go to, and then you see tasks integrated right in here. And those tasks actually are assigned to a particular day. So in Outlook 12, we're adding this concept of time and dates for tasks. Here's an email that says this person wants to work sometime next week together. I'm going to right-click on it. I'm going to say I want to get to it next week. And watch what happens. We automatically add a task here that's due next week. Now, these tasks can be Outlook tasks. There you go. These tasks can be Outlook tasks, OneNote tasks, project server tasks, you name it. We've got the tasks showing up right here for us. So a great way to work with our information. If I go ahead and click on this email, you'll see that a very common scenario, I'm going to turn off the to-do bar, a very common scenario is to have all these attachments. Wouldn't it be nice if I could just preview these attachments right inside of Outlook without having to open them up in a separate window? There are the JPEGs. Here's a PowerPoint document. I click on it, we'll actually play that PowerPoint slideshow right here in the preview pane. So you can really get a sense of what you're looking at in this PowerPoint document. Again, better results faster right inside of Outlook. We also let you email info path forms around. So here's an info path form that someone's built. I can just send it in a piece of email. If I have info path on my machine, I can fill it out and hit the send button, and it'll go back to the web service or the Sharepoint site just like that. Now, if I look at my folder list here on the left-hand side, you'll also notice that we're adding RSS reading and subscriptions right into Outlook. So if I click on this and expand it, here are all the RSS blogs or subscriptions that I have subscribed to, and we'll pick up all of those RSS subscriptions that you subscribe to inside of IE7. So from here, I can just use Outlook as my reader, and I can see all of the different things from a partner's blog. And we'll even take this offline, including the link to the actual article. So you want to sync your machine, go on a plane, and actually browse blogs. We'll make that very, very easy here in Outlook 12. Just like we have search integrated throughout Windows Vista, we also have search integrated throughout Office. So here we are working in the inbox, and you'll see the search box right here. I'm going to go ahead and type in sales data and hit enter. And now because we're in the inbox, we're just going to show you your inbox email that has sales or data anywhere in it. And in fact, you can see most of these have them in the subject line. This one actually has it baked into the actual email message. And it's great to have that context of just the inbox. But with a single click, I can click here, and now Outlook will actually search across all of Outlook. So now I'm looking at all my email. If I scroll down, I'll actually see, I can look at my web blogs here. I'll find calendar entries. I'll find tasks entries. All of that stuff integrated right here into search. And we're using the exact same indexing technology that Windows Vista does, so you only have one indexer running on your machine between MSN search, desktop search, and what you have here in Office 12. Let me wrap up with how we're integrating Outlook, not just with Exchange, but also how we're integrating Outlook with Sharepoint. So here I am on my Sharepoint document library. I have a lot of documents I love to work with, but I hate the fact that I can't take them offline. Wouldn't it be nice if I could just go in here, drill into my sales plans, and perhaps take the action of opening these up, maybe viewing them as an RSS feed. Sharepoint supports RSS feeds that you can subscribe to, or perhaps opening them up in Outlook. I'll go ahead and add that to Outlook, and on the left-hand side here, let's go back to Mail. On the left-hand side here, I'm losing my space. On the left-hand side here, you see that we've actually subscribed to that Sharepoint site, and here come all of those document entries down onto Outlook for me to have on my PC. When I go on the road, I've got all those documents with me. I can work with all those documents, and it's a very, very easy way to get better results faster. So in a slightly longer demo than I had hoped to do, I hope I gave you a flavor for why we're so excited, both about Windows Vista and the platform opportunities it presents to you guys as developers, but also about Office 12 and how this new user interface really helps people get better results faster. Thank you guys very much.